Welcome back to another episode of the Cycle Podcast, a show where we cover 4 trending MLB topics in 20 minutes or less. Joining me, as always, is Josh, a.k.a. Kablumski. Josh, how are you doing today? Welcome back to the pod.
Thank you for having me. I'm doing really, really great. Looking forward to this episode, giving the people what they want, baby.
Let's rock. Our first topic today is coming off the back of the Rob Manfred press run he's been on, talking about the potential and no longer potential of an expansion. This is no longer, like I said, a potential. He is saying this is happening. He gave a press conference at the Little League World Series game where he said that by the time his current contract, which he just renewed, ends in 2029, he plans to have 2 additional teams plus a divisional realignment. So me and Josh were just talking, throwing out some of the cities we'd like to see. We brought up Charlotte, Orlando, Portland, Nashville, San Antonio. And the way I see this going down is another East Coast team, another West Coast team. So there's always an outside possibility of an Oklahoma City in that mix. However, I really, really think it will be Portland plus either Nashville or Charlotte. Charlotte being a great point you brought up. And I think that's great for the league. I do have some concerns about the watering down of talent. And I think the fix to that is in that 2029 collective bargaining agreement. The installation of a cap floor, not a cap ceiling. If Rob Manfred wants to get his expansion pushed through, I think the players union can push for a salary floor and kill 2 birds with 1 stone. Right. So when it comes to the conference or the divisional realignment, the talk is a lot more regional rivalries. Get Kansas City and St. Louis and Milwaukee in a division together. Get the Mets and the Yankees in a division together. Put the Reds and the Guardians, the Dodgers, Oakland, Phoenix, Arizona and San Diego all in a division. And I think that would be great, especially for smaller market teams. Teams like Pittsburgh or the Marlins that have trouble drawing. Get some more regional rivalries in. I think those games have a much better opportunity to draw in fans, especially with a lot of Marlins fans being in Tampa Bay, a lot of Tampa Bay fans being in Miami, so on and so forth. So what's your take? Is this good for the game? Is this being rushed, which is a topic I've thought about? Is 2029 too close of a goal for Manfred? Though I think he wants this to be his legacy on top of those rule changes he instated a few years ago. Josh, floor is yours.
Yeah, to answer your 2 questions there, I don't think it's rushed. I think this is something that was in talks for a little bit now. There's some rumors swirling around, talking about expansion, bringing a couple of teams. The surprising part was the realignment, in my opinion. And then to answer your other question, I don't think it's watering down the league. I think that this game that we love so much is grown outside of our country and it's become worldwide. Therefore, bringing in more fans and more players from different countries, different parts of the world. So, and good players at that. So, when you're talking about farm systems that are like, 60% players, and I'm just throwing that number out there, is not from the United States. I think that's a good thing. It brings baseball throughout the world and brings in, and I don't think so much that it's going to get watered down. If anything, it's going to bring more publicity and show more people the talent that the world has to offer, not just the surrounding areas of the United States. Another thing is the salary floor that you brought up. I think it's a great point that we need to discuss and that you're discussing. Because they can't do 2 birds with 1 stone with this move. And I think Manfred knows that. I think that he's going to use this to his ability to woo the fans and woo the crowd and kind of like, hey, look at this over here because I'm going to do this on the side, one of those little distraction methods. But it's not going to be so much a dramatic effect that we would think it would have. But something needs to happen with the financial side of the side of the ball. And I think that this is the time, if you're going to do something and you talk about his legacy, I think that would be something for him to, hang his hat on, hang his coat on as he rides off into the sunset. And then one quick point, when you do it, when they are talking about the realignment, I was looking at the rivalries, right? Like, is Chicago still going to be able to play St. Louis? the Subway series, the Red Sox and Yankees series. I still think even with the realignment, I still think you still have those rivalry games that we're not going to be losing if you were to take those teams away and or switch the divisions. And anything you were talking about the smaller market teams. My Rays obviously are smaller market teams, so I look forward to that in an aspect where on one side I'm like, damn, I don't get to play the Yankees no more, and those big time teams. But at the same time, like, hey, bring on Atlanta, bring on Miami, or some of the lower end teams, because now that gives my team a little bit that motivation that hey, we're going in, not going against the monsters in our division every year, game in and game out, where they have the ability to compete not only for a division title, but also obviously move that forward into October. So I think this is something that we need to really seriously think about. It's going to happen, like you said. I think it's good for the game. And I think it's just going to expand the game throughout the world. And at the end of the day, as a sports fan, as a baseball fan, we want to touch as many people as possible and bring the game that we love to so many people. And I think that this is something that is just going to benefit that, in my opinion.
Absolutely. And I would expect over the winter meetings this year to
Yes.
have a few cities launch their proposal,
Yes.
get a potential ownership group in place. And by the end of the 2027 season, I would expect to know what cities are going to be joining, their team names, the owners. And then from there, it should roll fairly quickly to the 2029 deadline. With that, let's move on to our next topic. Our second topic today is going to be touching on the Rookie of the Year odds in both leagues. Of course, in the American League, you have Nicholas Kurtz running away with it. 25 home runs, 66 RBIs, 306 batting average, racking up a 4.1 wins above replacement. That is a good year for anyone at this point, let alone a rookie. Roman Anthony, second in the odds. Not even a close comparison. Obviously, I'm not a Kurtz fan. He took half of Sean Green's single base record away. One of my favorite players in my favorite record. He has hurt the Royals this year in some tight games. But with that being said, more than deserving, he is going to run away with the Rookie of the Year. Now, in the National League, I have a little bit of a problem with the odds here. Drake Baldwin in first, 278 batting average, 13 home runs, 56 RBIs. Obviously playing in a bigger market team with the Atlanta Braves. He is fairly well ahead of Agustin Ramirez, who is hitting 238, so the batting average isn't there, but 18 home runs, the exact same number of RBIs, and something like 13 more total hits on the season. Do you think that players are given a strong advantage based on the market they play in? For example, Nick Kurtz, he is putting up massive numbers. And in a small market, I think that's the only way to win the award. You have to be head and shoulders better than everyone else. We saw it last year with Skeens put up almost a no question Rookie of the Year campaign. And then Luis Heel on the other side, I believe, got the Rookie of the Year because he's a New York Yankee and they want to give it to one big market guy. Do you think that's happening here in the National League with Baldwin and Ramirez?
I don't think that's happening, but it's happening, if that makes sense. I don't know if I'm really making myself clear with that, but I don't want to believe that it's happening. But it's something that we do have to acknowledge. I mean, the smaller market teams and listen, if these smaller market teams need something to cheer for, you know what I mean? When you talk about Nicholas Kurtz over there in Oakland, Sacramento, whatever they are, they at the trade line, I spoke on one of our podcasts, how they got something to look forward to. That, hey, fans, don't worry about now. Look forward in the future. You guys are going to be set. But just having that player now performing for you in that bit of a small market just has something for you that to cheer for and keeps you it keeps you in tune with your team. And these smaller market players, yes, they're not getting the publicity that they need and or show, but they're doing what they need to do. And that goes to show you how when you mentioned Roman Anthony over there in Boston, like the guys in the bigger market, he's not the big time name there. He's still producing numbers. He's, like I said, like you said, he's second in the lead over there as far as for Rookie of the Year. But when you get overshadowed by bigger names, may not be producing as much, but the bigger names are there. I think that's when the players get overshadowed. So when you bring up, the Ramirez's of the world and the Baldwins of the world, and some would say that Atlanta is a bigger market, but still, it's good to see that they're still having something for their fans, which I like to talk about a lot. As you notice, the fans got something to look forward to and to support. So I'm all for it. If they are doing that, hey, I'll turn the blind eye and not pick them on it. But at the same time, it should be going to the most deserving of it. And just like you were mentioning with Nicholas Kurtz, he's running away with it. And that's something that the award should have his name at the end of the year.
Yeah. I remember, to your point, in 2022 when Bobby Witt Jr. was a rookie, I wasn't tuning in to see if we won or not. I tune in because I watch every Royals game.
Right.
But what got me excited was, what's Bobby going to do tonight? I was checking the Rookie of the Year odds at least twice a week. He was keeping pace with Julio Rodriguez. Obviously, they made the wrong choice, giving it to J-Rod. But it did give me something to tune in for. I mean, I would get up, go to the bathroom, do some chores throughout the rest of the game, just to watch Bobby Witt Jr. take his at-bats, because we've got a Rookie of the Year contender again in Kansas City. And I can see where Oakland fans, Miami fans, Atlanta fans are all watching just to see what these guys do and give them something to cheer for, if only for that player to win an award. With that, let's move on to a tight wild card race and make a few picks, lock them in today. Our third topic today is going to be taking a look at the current wild card standings, and Josh and I are both going to pick the three teams in each league we see coming out of the regular season as wild card teams into the playoffs. So in the American League, we have the Yankees as recently as a few days ago in third place, now in first. Boston behind them, followed by Seattle. And then the teams just on the outside are my Kansas City Royals at 2 games out, and the Cleveland Guardians at 3 games out, just recently jumped behind the Royals. So my official picks, I'm going to write this down. I have the Yankees, I have the Mariners, and I have the Royals. Boston just in a tougher division. They've got to go through the Yankees, they've got to go through the Blue Jays, and they've got to go through an always scrappy Tampa Bay team, as well as an Orioles squad that has been better since the All-Star break. So with those 3 playoff contenders in the AL East, being the Blue Jays, the Yankees, and the Red Sox, I don't see all 3 of them making it out. I see Seattle having a better shot, though Boston and Seattle are both 3-7 in their last 10. The Royals, 5 straight. They have 2 tough series with the Tigers coming up, but we also get to play the White Sox. We get to play the Angels here coming up, as well as the Twins. I see us having a much more favorable schedule going forward. Of course, Texas, loser of, I believe, 3 straight, has fallen to 5.5 out. So, Josh, given all that, give me your 3 American League wild card teams.
I hate to do this. I hate to do this for you, but I'm going to have to agree. I wrote down Yankees, Mariners, and Royals as well.
Oh, thank God.
Yes,
Sorry, about to say some fucked up stuff, dude.
No, I'm being realistic here. And I think you brought up some good points. Obviously, our division, the AL East, one of the toughest divisions in ball. So Boston's going to have a tough route. And another thing, which you also mentioned, the Rays. They're not going to make the playoffs. I'm not saying that. But the Rays are more deadly when they are not making the playoffs and just ruining people's seasons than they are when they are trying to make the playoffs. And it's really frustrating as a Rays fan to be a part of this roller coaster. But at the same time, it's pretty cool to see teams derail when they come to Tampa. So I do have the New York Yankees, Seattle, and Kansas City. The reason why I also bring in Seattle in the mix is because I got a little bit of insight. I don't know if you know, but I got a boy that plays or coaches for Tacoma, the AAA affiliate over there. They got one of the best teams in the AAA right now. Their farm system is loaded. And he was telling me like how they're going to be bringing up a lot of their studs. And at a time like this is when you need some fresh legs, some fresh arms, guys coming in just to relieve a few players so they can get ready for the postseason. And some of these guys that are carrying the team, like the Big Dumper, J-Rod, whatever it may be, they're carrying the teams, but the other role players, they might need to sit back and just, take a break, regroup, and hit the ground running. And your Royals, I believe, are on a 5-game win streak right now. They're kicking on all cylinders. This is the time to get hot, ladies and gentlemen. It's not how you start the season, it's how you finish. And the time is now as far as where the season starts for you. So if you're a contender, now is the season for you to really get it going. And the Royals are hitting it all cylinders.
Yeah. So in the National League, this one should be way easier. We've got Chicago 4.5 up, San Diego 2.5 up, the Mets right on that line, going 4-6 in their last 10 games, as well as some really heartbreaking losses, dropping the ball late in the games, bullpen failures, inability to get runners around when they need it. And you've got the freaking Cincinnati Reds nipping on your heels. I believe we're going to touch on them and who's hot. Spoiler alert, I've got it going Chicago, San Diego, Cincinnati. I predicted the beginning of the season. Check the tape on that. The Mets are going to miss the postseason because of this exact reason. I don't think they're built for deep runs. I don't think they're built for the dog days. Despite making some moves to sort of bolster position groups where they needed it, bullpen in particular, I just don't think they have enough. And I hate Juan Soto. So I would love to see nothing more than the bajillion-dollar man not bring it home. Real quick, Josh, 15 seconds, 3 teams go.
Cubs, San Diego, Mets. And I'm throwing the Mets in there. I know, because especially now that you even mentioned this, so now I've really got to, stick the fork in there and make sure.
Don't be wrong.
No, I know. Well, if you go back into our prior shows, I got the Mets winning it all in the NL. Unfortunately, I feel like I put my foot in the mouth on that one. But I still think they do make the push. They got veteran leadership over there. The $700 million man over there needs to figure it out. He had a good postseason in his past. So I'm firmly believing that he will pick it up and carry the team when need to be. But the Cubs need to figure it out. And then San Diego, like we always mentioned, they got a tough division over there. But they are always having their teams in the scope. They're always in the mix. And they always like to ruffle feathers, especially in October.
Good. I hope so, because I'm on year 10 of saying this is their year. This is a Padres year. And spoiler, I'm going to pick them to win the World Series. Because I just want to be right one time. With that, let's move on to our final topic. Everybody's favorite topic, who's hot.
Oh, yeah. Let's do it.
Our final topic, like I said, is who's hot. And this is a big one for me because I haven't gone a homer pick in a while. And that's because I like to keep, myself honest. Thank you. If somebody's absolutely mashing, I'm not going to put a Royal over them. Even though last week I really wanted Salvi. I've thought about Adam Frazier in the past, which would be ludicrous. But this week we have a justified one. In the last 6 games, part of this 5-game winning streak we're on, Vinny, and it's going to be 6 after tonight, fingers crossed. Vinny Pasquantino has hit 3 home runs, 7 RBIs, 4 runs. He's slugging .810. In the bottom of the first inning tonight, which is not included in that stat line, another 3-run homer. His power is coming through. He is doing what he normally does. He's a great hitter with runners in scoring position. He drives in runs. He's a master of the sacrifice fly. And he can hit some pretty darn long home runs when he needs to. Very versatile hitter. Smart guy, works a count. And when he's doing those little things, the big things happen. And that is what we're seeing in recent weeks from him. The Royals need power. We don't hit a ton of home runs. We brought in Mike Yastrzemski to play leadoff for us, which traditionally not a power hitter, though he's hit 5 home runs for the Royals since the break. Vinny is the guy who can really shift the dynamic of this offense. You expect Salvador Perez to hit home runs. You expect Bobby with the extra base hits, the occasional power, the stolen bases. Vinny's that wild card player. And a lot of times the team goes as he goes, which that's the definition of a role player. A guy who, when he's doing well, the rest of the team goes with him. Even more so than Bobby Witt Jr., who seems to always be doing Bobby Witt Jr. things. And the team around him, you saw in the first half of the season, doesn't necessarily reciprocate. With that, give you a little over 2 minutes, 2.5 minutes. Give me your who's hot.
First of all, great pick. I applaud you for not always picking your Royals. And I give you shit, but you do pick very fairly, and I applaud you for that. And also, when you say Vinny, I feel like you gotta like do like the whole Italian,
Pasquantino.
Pasquantino, Vinny
Star,
I don't know,
star of the Italian National League team in the
right?
coming World Cup.
Yeah, I'm like, I feel like that needs to be like, with this name. Anyway, but good pick. So my guy, anytime, I know we got some fans and supporters that talk about the Reds and they're like, hey, what about our Reds? So anytime that like I said before, anytime I can give a shout out to a Reds player, I'm all for it. I love the people. I give the people what they want. So with that being said, Marte is the man right now. Guys, he's doing something that we haven't seen since 2013. Okay. Friedel was the last one to do this in a 10-game span. Okay. He has hit 7 multi-hit games. He's hit 7 multi-hit games in a 10-game span.
That's specifically
impressive.
as a Cincinnati Red, right?
Excuse me, as a Red. Yes, sir. Thank you for clarifying that.
Of course.
And on top of that, shout out to Friedel, by the way, because a lot of people don't know about him. But anytime that we can get another Reds player in, we're gonna get it in, like I said. But we're on a serious note. During that span, he's batting .444, right? 3 homers, 6 doubles. And I get it. The Reds are 12 and a half games back. I get that. But with this little push that they got going on with the team kind of, making a little bit of move. I'm not
back in the wild card mix.
Yeah, we didn't pick him for the wild card mix, but hey.
I did.
Oh, yes, you did. That's right. So, I didn't know that. That's what it was. And I just feel like that's something that we got to look forward to, having a player. And I love a player that is not a no name, especially a player that was on the block when you talk about him having steroids issue and performance enhancing drugs issue last year, you said, right? Mm-hmm. Excuse me. So for him to bounce back in the way he has, I think that's great. And I think that I want to give him the flowers that he deserves. And the Reds are making a push. You got them to win, going into a wild card. And it's a small market. And Tito is somebody that I want to root for, man. Tito Francona is somebody that, I want somebody to succeed. It's got to be him. I like what he does with his team. And with Marte on the hot streak right now, I think that they got some pieces to follow him to do what you said and make a nice little wild card push.
Yeah, and my mother's side of the family will appreciate that. Bunch of Reds fans. So
shout out to them.
Go Royals. Anyway, with that, let's wrap it up. Great show, Josh. Thank you, as always, for joining us. As always, if you have any comments, questions, topics you want us to discuss, leave it in the comments. We love interacting. Give us a like, subscribe so you don't miss an episode. And remember, we do have the return of the 4 Downs podcast coming here in just a few weeks, likely the first or second week of September. We will be kicking that off. So for the remainder of the baseball season, you will be getting 2 podcasts a week, NFL and football. Like you said, subscribe so you can stay tuned. Josh, take us home.
Guys, like he said, follow, subscribe, the whole 9. But tell us how bad we did on our picks. Let us know your picks. Let us know what we're doing wrong. Give us some stuff to feed off of. I love shit talking, so let me have it. My skin is tough. I love you guys. I love everything that you guys are doing with our channel here. We're looking forward to the rest of the remainder of the season. Obviously, like you said, the 4 Downs podcast coming up. Looking forward to that as well. Stay tuned. Thanks for another great show.
We'll see you next time.